Conservative new media viewers, Jeremy Lin fans around the world, what's up? It's me, PFB, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We're here tonight to discuss Brooklyn Nets 122-104 loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder in Brooklyn, New York. Thunder improved to 37-29 on the year, including 12-20 away from home. Brooklyn falls to 12-53 on the season, including 8-24 at home. Go our statistics quickly. Russell Westbrook had a triple-double, which many fans in the Barclays Center seem to be wanting to see tonight, and they got their wish. 25 points, 12 rebounds, 19 assists. However, he shot just 6 of 18 from the field, and Jeremy Lin played excellent defense on him. We'll talk more about that in a second. Victor Oladipo, 21 points. Enes Kanter, 17 points. Alex Abrines, 13 points off the Thunder bench. Turning to Brooklyn. Tonight was different than most nights for Brooklyn because their bench didn't get it done. And that was a huge factor in why Brooklyn lost this game. There were no double-figure scores off the bench for the Nets, and Sean Kilpatrick got hurt early in this game, and I think that affected the bench's scoring ability. I think the final bench scoring figures for the game were 40 points for the Thunder bench and 20 points or 21 points for the Nets bench. So the Nets bench got outscored by 19 points. That's basically what the margin of defeat was tonight for Brooklyn. Also, Brooklyn got crushed in rebounding. 44 rebounds to the Thunder, 30 for the Nets, 13 offensive rebounds for the Thunder, 4 for the Nets. The starters did an excellent job in this game. Brook Lopez, 25.6 rebounds. Karis LeVert, 16 points, 5 rebounds. He was great. Randy Foye, 13 points, 4 assists. Jeremy Lin, 24 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. Jeremy played 26 minutes, shot 8 of 15 from the field, including 2 of 4 from three-point range, 6 of 6 free throws, 1 steal, 1 block shot, 3 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. Jeremy's plus-minus was a -3, and he did really well tonight. The only negative for Jeremy tonight was that he turned his ankle in this game. And he played through it. He was able to finish off the game. But what happens with ankle injuries is you usually have to wait and see how it looks the day after or the morning after, because oftentimes it will swell up once you take your shoe off. And when Jeremy turned his ankle, it didn't look really good. So hopefully it won't swell up too much and he won't be able to miss any time, because tonight Jeremy looked the best that he looked since he's come back from the last hamstring injury. He looked great. His speed was good. His shot looked good. Everything looked good. So hopefully this won't slow him down too much in terms of just getting back to his full form. What happened in the game was this game was tied at halftime. And then the Thunder kind of overpowered the Nets in the second half. Coach Atkinson, I listened to his post game, and he's like, yeah, they're just very physical, and they're rebounding, and we were able to deal with it for a long period of time, and then it just kind of wore us out in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter. And I think that the rebounding and physicalness of the Thunder and missing Sean Kilpatrick really hurt in this game. I will say this, even though this is an 18-point loss, I'm not unhappy at all. The Nets played extremely hard in this game. The difference was, and it's almost like the Dallas game, the difference was the Thunder were more physical and they were more precise. Like they knew where they wanted to be and what they wanted to do exactly. Whereas the Nets were somewhat indecisive in that regard in terms of what they were going to run and who was going to get the ball and so forth. That's the young team thing. That's the young team about they're not sure exactly what to do and who to give the ball to and when to do it and so forth. And to be honest, the physicalness is also part of being young. If you get guys that just came into the league, like LeVert, like Whitehead, they're usually not going to be nearly as strong as guys that are veterans. And these guys go through, most of them, extensive weight training and strengthening, and they're just going to be stronger. And they're going to be able to bully a lot of younger players or players who have not played in the NBA and gone through those same types of strengthening routines. So this played out kind of like you think it would. And the Thunder are a dangerous team. As somebody said to me on Twitter, they're much better than they were earlier in this season. And they're much better than a lot of people realize that they are. The Thunder, as I said in the video, the last video before this one, to preview this game, Thunder are a pretty deep team. They're probably 10 or 11 men deep. And of those 11 men, 9 of them, or at least 8 of them, are quite good. And then the other 3 are rookies or younger players, and they're okay. But the Thunder might be the most athletic team in the league. They are certainly one of the most physical teams in the league, along with Memphis. And now their pieces fit. It's almost like Brooklyn, how now the roster's complete and everything fits. Well, the Thunder, it all fits for them now, since they made the trades for Taj Gibson and who was the other guy that they got? Dougie McDermott. They fit now. So they're good. Now, I'm not going to tell you here they're going to beat full-strength Warriors or they're going to beat a full-strength Spurs, but it's going to be a lot more interesting now if they play those teams. It's going to be a real test because they can really beat you up, and if things go right, they could beat them. They could compete with these teams. So the Thunder is not just, the record makes them look like they're a slightly above average team, but they're better than that. They're not a totally elite team, but they're like in between above average and elite. They're in that kind of next tier down from elite. So this was a good outing for the Nets. Like I said, I thought they played hard. They gave it all, and they can learn from this, and they will learn from this. And as I alluded to earlier, Jeremy played great in this game, and he played great on both ends. He really hounded Russell Westbrook. And when Brooklyn was on offense for much of this game, they didn't have Westbrook guarding Lin, meaning as the last team that the Nets faced, they had their shooting guard guarding Jeremy, and that was because they wanted to give a break to Westbrook, and so he didn't use his energy, and Jeremy wears him out. Yeah. So when they play, the Knicks did the same thing with Courtney Lee. They had Courtney Lee, the shooting guard, guarding Jeremy, and tonight it was Andre Roberson and Victor Oladipo guarding Jeremy to really put some more size and physicalness against Jeremy, and Jeremy did great with it. And Jeremy really did have an impact on Westbrook. And as I said on Twitter right after this game, what you have to understand is, we talked about the last game and how that was the comeback game for Jeremy and how much he's grown. Well, tonight you realize how far Jeremy has come since that series in Houston when Jeremy was a starter. His first year in Houston, I believe. Yeah. And this is 2013 playoffs. So this is 4 years ago. Jeremy was the starter, and Houston played OKC. And Houston got crushed, and Jeremy had a really difficult time in that series. And then he got hurt, and then he was out, and Beverly came in, and that started the whole Beverly should be the starter thing. In that series, Jeremy couldn't do anything. And I'm not saying that to put him down. I'm just saying he really struggled, and he just hadn't come into his full abilities yet. Tonight, he looked like, yeah, this is somebody that can compete and hang with Russell Westbrook on both ends. And in that series, it didn't look like, I remember people saying after that series, oh, Jeremy's scared. He looks so afraid. That was his first playoff time. No more fear, no more anything tonight. Jeremy was huge in this game. And Coach Atkinson, as he did in the Knicks game, their plan down the stretch of games, it's clear now. The Nets, when they have to win and they need points, they have like a Jeremy package. They go to certain plays or they just set up certain things, and Jeremy's the guy they go to for points. And late in this game, Jeremy scored like 9 straight points. And then Oklahoma City started double teaming him. But it's like Atkinson trusts him fully. He's the guy. He's the go-to scorer. I'm sure that Brooke works into them some, but it's definitely that's what they do. And that's what they want to do. And Jeremy can do it. And as I said, he's just come so far from all of the past, including the Houston series against Oklahoma City years ago. And it's just great to see. I just hope Jeremy's ankle is okay so that he doesn't have to miss any more time and he doesn't have any more setbacks, because he is looking phenomenal. And what you also notice, too, is Jeremy's shooting now from 3, I don't know, like 38%, something like that. But that's because in the last game, he was like 0 of 6. And what you see now is the last game was a fluke. His legs were tired, and that's why he was missing so many shots. And he said that after the game in an article I tweeted out. Tonight, the legs weren't tired. He hit shots, and he hit three-pointers. And he hit 2 of 4 three-pointers. So the good shooting looks like the norm now for Jeremy, and that's really good to see because, as I said, we are progressing now. Jeremy is a starter. Jeremy can shoot three-pointers. And Jeremy is the closer. He's the team closer now in a way that he never was any other place he's ever been. Not for Houston, except in New York. Not for Houston, not for the Lakers, not for Charlotte. Now he gets to be the guy late, or certainly one of the two. And that hasn't happened since New York, and Jeremy should have shown everybody then that he was for real. But now, again, this is it. Once he shows it this time, that's it. You don't have fluke seasons 5-6 years apart. It doesn't work like that. And I mean, of course, this is ridiculous, but just for the people who doubt him, this will be it. And it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better going into next season, provided, of course, Jeremy's healthy. So this was a terrific night for Jeremy. Team just struggled. They went up against a more physical, bigger team that did really well, and the bench just had a tough night. And hopefully Sean Kilpatrick, who hurt his left hamstring, I believe, which is exactly the injury Jeremy had, hopefully he won't be hurt and won't be out for too long, because they do need his scoring. He is one of the reliable scorers off the bench. And I said last game, or the game before that, Sean was trying to do a little too much. And I said that he had scored 20 points in back-to-back games. And the truth was he scored 20 points in 3 straight games. So they need his scoring. They need his scoring to win games. So hopefully, I said, he won't be out for too long. Okay, let's look at quarter by quarter, just to go through my notes here. Now, early on in this game, Russell Westbrook got fouled, and he went to the free throw line, and the crowd started doing MVP chants. It's like you felt like you were in Oklahoma City tonight, but the crowd was a big crowd, particularly as the Northeast has been hit by a huge snowstorm. Where I'm at, it's like 2 feet of snow, and there's heavy snow in Brooklyn. So there was a chance this game was going to get canceled. Well, not only was it not canceled, the crowd was pretty much packed. And they came to see Russell Westbrook, and we could understand that pretty early on with the MVP chants. Going into the second quarter, Jeremy had a really nice one-on-one move, and it was a fadeaway, and it was almost like a Euro step, which is kind of you step one way, then you step the other way. But it was an exaggerated escape dribble. He stepped towards the basket, and then he jumps backwards away from the basket to get separation, and he nailed it. A jump shot against Alex Abrines. That might have been the best I've ever seen Jeremy execute that move. And it shows me that he really is working on his one-on-one skills, and they're coming along. Fadeaway is a great one-on-one move. It's one that many people use. So if that's Jeremy's go-to move in the one-on-one isolation move, fantastic, because it looked really good tonight. I noticed that Karis LeVert was bringing the ball up a lot while Jeremy was in. This is good. Some people probably like, why is he bringing it up? It lets Jeremy rest a little bit. If you have to bring the ball up every single time, it kind of wear you down, and it can drain some of your energy. What this does is it lets Jeremy put a little more energy into scoring and a little less energy into ball handling. So I'm glad that Coach Atkinson's doing this, and I think it will help Jeremy in the long run. Okay, and I made a note in the third quarter, but Jeremy Lin looks sharp, starting to find full form. So his speed is coming back. His timing looks like it's coming back. And we talked about it. He hasn't been up to his full level yet. Now, he played 8.5 minutes in the first quarter, which made me think, okay, they're really raising his minutes limit now. But he only ended up playing like 27 minutes, and it would have been around 30 minutes. But at the end of the game, he got pulled because the game was a blowout. But so maybe he's still around 30 minutes. But playing him 8.5 minutes in the first quarter is a good sign of him getting back to full minutes. So that was good to see. Then, Jeremy got killed by Taj Gibson going for a layup, and he did not get the call. And he was like looking at the ref, and like I think he said something like, what, or just was shocked. And after the game, the reporters were asking Coach Atkinson, well, you guys weren't getting a lot of calls. Was that frustrating you guys? Or so there were a number of times in this game the Nets didn't get a whistle when they thought they were going to get a whistle, and several of them happened with Jeremy. Right after that play, this is still in the third quarter, Jeremy went to, I can't remember if it was I think it was on defense. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe he was trying to save a ball, but this is when he turned his ankle. And I got to tell you, like I said, when he turned it, didn't look very good. It's like, oh man, that looks pretty bad. But he laced up his shoe tight, which is what happens when you sprain your ankle. Because you don't want it to be able to swell up, so you want it tight, like compression. And he was able to play, and he played well after he hurt the ankle. So, like I said, hopefully it's not too bad. Then they mentioned the news that Sean Kilpatrick was doubtful to return for the game because he hurt his hamstring. And as we went into the fourth quarter, it was OKC up by 8 points. So the game was still there. It was still competitive. It was still within reach. And then, as I said earlier, the Thunder plays with force. They play hard, but they also play pretty precise. Brooklyn plays hard, but not as precise. And that's just, again, that's the youth and the inexperience. Sarah Kustok mentioned that Coach Atkinson loves the competitiveness of Quincy Acey, because Acey had just gotten into some little trash talking thing with one of the Thunder. I can't remember who. And so I said, look, Acey's playing great. Now, he didn't shoot the three well tonight, but he's shooting it so well this year. Plus, he's such an energetic guy. And as I mentioned, it's going to make it very hard for Justin Hamilton going forward to get a lot of minutes, because Quincy's just playing so good. Then Jeremy, this is in the fourth quarter as well, Jeremy really got hit hard on a screen set by the Thunder. Domantas Sabonis set a pick for, maybe it was Westbrook. And, he seriously elbowed Jeremy in the back. He hit him hard. And not only did Jeremy not get the call, Jeremy was called for a foul because after he got hit in the back, he ran into Westbrook or whatever. So it was like, this is what the reporter was asking about, like, hey, were you guys getting frustrated because you weren't getting any calls? But look, sometimes you're just not going to get calls, and you just have to play through it, which is what Coach Atkinson said. And I put Andre Roberson back on Jeremy Lin to slow him down. So this was the thing of don't put Westbrook on to guard Jeremy because it's too much energy and it will drain him. Put the big guys on him, on Jeremy, to slow him down instead. Okay? Then, with about, I don't have the time left in the game, but this was going towards the end of the game, maybe 5 minutes left or something, and you could see that the Nets were essentially running every single play for Jeremy. It now became, okay, we need points, we've got to score, give the ball to Jeremy and get out of the way, or set a pick for him and let him get to the basket. And OKC started fouling him. He started because he was just, when Jeremy wants to get fouled, he's very good at getting fouled. And he got fouled like 3 times within a very short period of time. And again, every single play was designed for him to let him get to the basket or let him shoot a shot. And I mean, he could pass the ball if he wanted out of a pick and roll, but all these plays were designed for Jeremy Lin. So within the next couple of minutes, he got 6 free throw shots and he hit all of them. Then Russell Westbrook got a rebound that he needed to complete the triple-double, and the crowd basically almost gave him a standing ovation for that. So look, good for him. And it's not that the crowd was against Brooklyn; they were just they wanted to see Russell. This is a historic season, and they wanted to see him get a triple-double, and he did. So they were really happy about that, even though most of them were still cheering the Nets. Okay. And I just said, yeah, Brooklyn went all in on the Lin scoring late plan. It was all Jeremy, go, and score, but it just wasn't enough. They were behind by too much, and Oklahoma City was playing a little too well. So that's basically what happened. Yeah. And then Coach Atkinson said after the game that he thought Jeremy did a really good job against Russell Westbrook, and he thought he competed really hard against Russell Westbrook. So he went out of his way to say that. And as I mentioned, this is a totally new day and a new scenario compared with that old OKC versus Houston series that Jeremy was a part of. And as I mentioned earlier, Jeremy scored 9 or more points in a row late in this game. So Jeremy is the go-to man, even more so than Brook. Now, I think Brook might have gotten one shot in there or something, but everything's in Jeremy Lin's hand. Let him do his thing, and if he decides to give the ball to Brook, he's going to give the ball to Brook. Now, if Coach Atkinson calls a timeout and does a designed play for Brook, okay, that might happen, but we've seen for a couple games here, the last 2 games, Knicks and Thunder, down the stretch, it was all about Jeremy. So if you're a Jeremy Lin fan, you got to feel great. If you're a Nets fan, you got to feel great because Jeremy's really good at delivering in those situations, and he did it great against both the Knicks and the Thunder tonight. And it's only going to improve the more he gets to full speed after returning from the hamstring injury. So that's about it. Look, it was a good game tonight. Unfortunately, the bench wasn't good enough, and Sean Kilpatrick got hurt, and the Thunder are a really good team. But the Nets came out and they competed hard and they kept it close until the very end. This was a much better outing than some of the blowouts earlier in the season. I mean, there were nothing like this. Those games are like the team was just getting crushed and then the other team kind of goes easy on them at the end. This wasn't like that. This was very, very close, and then OKC pulled away just at the very end, and it looked worse than what it actually was. But Jeremy did great. The team fought hard. They made Russell Westbrook work extremely hard, and we are seeing more and more that what the plan is late is to get Jeremy Lin the ball. So I'm very happy, and I'm looking forward to the next game. Let's talk about that next game. It will take place 2 nights from now, Thursday, March 16th, and it is a rematch with the crosstown rivals New York Knicks. I think this is the 4th time this season that the two teams will play, and it will be the final time they play. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States. I think you can watch it on Yes Network, also on NBA League Pass if you're not in the vicinity of Yes Network and you're not in the vicinity of Madison Square Garden Network. It's going to be a challenge because the Knicks are going to be looking for revenge. The Knicks want to beat the Nets every single time they play them, just because they want to be the big brother in the city. And they just lost to the Nets, and the Knicks think they're better than the Nets. So they're going to come. I'm sure they'll put a tremendous amount of energy into that game. It's not going to be easy, but I feel good about things. I feel even better if Sean Kilpatrick and Joe Harris are able to play in that game. At least one of them. That would really help the bench scoring if one of those two can play. So other than that, everything's good. I mean, Jeremy looked great tonight, and hopefully his ankle will be okay, and we'll see what's up. And when I hear anything or see anything, I'll just put it up on Twitter. So that is it for tonight. I hope you're having a great night or great day wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care. We will talk to you again in about 48 hours. Nets at Knicks from Madison Square Garden, New York City, Manhattan. Can't wait for that. Melo and the guys will be waiting for payback, but hopefully Brooklyn can get the last laugh once again. We will